Hey everyone, I have a question. Do you hate trees? I don't. I don't hate trees. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, I was taught to value trees, kind of look at them as like friends in the environment. When I was a kid, I would, when, Reagan was president, Michael Jackson was at the top of the charts, and, those fun times. These paper bags were in every supermarket. And I remember when I was younger, you saw fewer and fewer and fewer paper bags, with the reason being that we need to save the trees. It's a waste. Why should we knock trees down, get paper, make paper bags, and then just kind of throw them away? It was terrible. It was deplorable. We were going to use single use plastic bags because when you make plastic bags, you're not destroying a tree because trees are important. Trees, help with the air we breathe. They're good for the groundwater and erosion control, and they contribute food and shelter for the animals and help sustain wild habitats. There was nothing bad about trees. Trees are awesome. Okay. Now we fast forward to the future. Look what we have here. Paper bags. Just got this yesterday. You don't see as many plastic bags anymore. Now, a lot of places that never had paper bags before only have paper bags. That's it, because plastic bags are bad. Because, they might not be biodegradable. And, of course, they'll use petroleum products. Now, of course, the paper bags, we just ramped up the tree killing to have the paper bags. Now, the good thing about them is that they're biodegradable. So when I get a paper bag, I'll use it for all my recyclables, and I'll take it to the transfer station. And this way it'll end up getting recycled. So hopefully fewer trees are killed. Because again, I like trees. I like to preserve as many as possible. But lately, I've been, I always drive around and I look at stuff. But sometimes when you go the same way and you look at the same things in the same places, you don't realize just how much things change. But when you go someplace that you haven't been in a little while, and then you notice the changes, it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks. And I've seen a few places where lots and lots and lots of acres of trees have just been totally bulldozed for solar panels. Now, the big thing for solar panels is that it's clean, renewable energy that's good for the environment. Now, solar panels, yeah, I guess it's pretty clean. It's renewable, good stuff. But then you're knocking all the trees down. So it's like you're doing something good for the environment in that you are using renewable energy. But aren't you offsetting the positive you're doing using solar energy by maybe knocking down 50 acres of trees for a solar farm? You've just knocked down all these trees that are good for the air we breathe, good for the atmosphere, good for erosion control and as habitats and food sources for animals and all the wildlife that relies on them. And you've put solar panels. I don't know if that is just kind of a wash there, where you're taking care of some positive, you're getting rid of some positive environmental factors and replacing them with another positive environmental factor. If that's the case, maybe there's no net gain. You had something helping the environment and you destroyed it to put something else that's helping the environment. Of course, it's possible that maybe the solar panels are more valuable to the environment than the trees are. I guess it might be possible. I kind of find that hard to believe from a personal note. But again, I've never looked into it with any depth, just kind of some observations. But then we have the other possibility that while solar panels are valuable, trees are more valuable and the habitats are more valuable. Which leads me to something that really, really ticks me off. Whenever we see people discussing solar, they're talking about putting it on their roofs. I've looked into solar for my house, and It's almost like they don't want to hear putting a ground array, because I have room to put a ground array up. They don't want to hear it. They want them on your roof. Don't know why exactly, but they want them on the roof. Even though I was going to put the ground array next to my house, and it really wouldn't have been much of a run. Just had to maybe make a small trench, and kind of it would line right into my electrical panel. Like I said, I was going to have it like 10 feet away. They don't want to hear it. They want them on the roof. Now, if they're so big on having these things on the roof, why don't commercial buildings have them to any large degree? I don't see very many commercial buildings that have solar panels. Another question. Here's a great idea. Why not put them on parking garages? How expensive would it be to build a canopy on top of parking garages that would not only shield people from from rain and the sun, but would also generate quite a bit of electricity? The canopy doesn't look like it would be much, and the savings that are claimed for people who put them on their house could be generated by the property owners of the garages. What about some of these big box stores? Think about like Walmart, Costco, Target, all these big supermarkets. There is so much square footage there to put solar panels. Why aren't they putting them up there? Why aren't they on canopies? Why aren't there canopies for, carriage returns, and you put panels on there? Build canopies over parking lots. How many times do you hear people complain that all the asphalt and blacktop keeps drawing in heat and actually raises the temperature of cities and suburbs? Well, if you put canopies over the asphalt, the sun's really not going to hit it directly, so you probably wouldn't raise the temperature too much, but it will be hitting the solar panels. So instead of just raising the temperature in certain islands of, suburbs and urban areas, you'd actually be generating electricity for the grid. Why isn't it done that way? Why are we knocking the trees down? Doesn't seem to make much sense. I guess it's easier, but a lot of things are easier, and we say, well, we shouldn't do it that way because even though it's easy, it's not the correct way. I would think it's better to spend more money, put them on already existing commercial buildings, parking lots, parking garages, and maybe save some of these open spaces because they're just totally clear cut. Which is another thing. If you know anyone or if you yourself have solar, you'll know that the first thing they do when they get to your house is they start looking for trees they can cut down. So it's not only just happening in large rural lots or large spaces with trees. They're doing it in people's yards. They're cutting down as many trees as they can. If they had their way, there'd be no trees in your yard. You'd have nothing. How is that really helping? Anyway, it's something to think about. I'll talk to you later.